Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. It is post-match reaction show time after Liverpool have just, I guess we're going to have to say, scraped past Southampton by 2-1 at St Mary's. And that feels like a strange way of summarising the match because there were certain times, particularly in the first half, where it did feel like Liverpool were just, battling to get by, battling to stay in the game. And it did feel like if we got 3 points, it wouldn't be because we were the better team or because we deserved it on overall performance, but because we just managed to get the job done no matter what. But then when you look at the vast majority of the second half, Liverpool was slick, Liverpool were calm, Liverpool kept possession, we controlled the game, and it really felt like we had kind of put that stranglehold on the match and kind of done, I think, as well as anyone would have really expected, because given the situation with the Super Cup, no one ever expected Liverpool to be brilliant today. I don't think anyone thought we were going to be near the levels we showed against Norwich the weekend beforehand, where we just blew them away within the first 30 or 40 minutes of the game. We knew this was going to be a tough match, and I think the most any of us ever hoped for was a kind of that professional 2-0 win where, yeah, we're not brilliant, and at times the opposition might actually have more of the ball and look dominant, but at the end of the day, Liverpool are always a team that are more in control of the match, and we defend well, we stop the team creating any clear-cut chances, and when we get our own opportunities, we put them away properly. And in the second half, it certainly felt like we were doing that. We were kind of on message in terms of how we were playing, up until, obviously, the thing happens with Adrian, and I'll come on to that a little bit more later on in the video, but that leads to an awful lot of squeaky bum time later on in the game. So I guess on balance, you can say that this is the kind of game where Liverpool just about got by. We did manage to scrape the 3 points in the end, but that's what everyone was hoping for beforehand. Like I said, we were never going to cruise to 3 points. It was never going to be easy by any means. And at the end of the day, the 3 points was just all that mattered today and absolutely nothing else. It really concerns any Liverpool fan at the moment. Maybe in a few days' time, we can talk about certain aspects of the performance that we're not happy with. But at the moment, I'm just overjoyed that Liverpool managed to get the job done, especially with the Man City-Tottenham game later on. And if you're watching this afterwards, then I'm hoping you're watching it with a massive smile on your face and Liverpool being 3 points ahead of Man City already. But if you ask me, I'm just happy we're not going to be finishing the weekend 3 points behind them. But yeah, taking a bit more of a look at the game overall, obviously, like I said, the first half, we just do not come out of the blocks at all. And Southampton, capitalised on that brilliantly, apart from when it came to actually sticking the ball in the back of the net. I think one of the key problems was that there wasn't really an understanding of which players were going to stay back and defend and which players were going to go forward and help the attack. And I think some of that comes from the selection issue we were forced into dealing with in midfield. I think if Fabinho had played, we would have been a lot more solid, because the issue was both fullbacks were playing pretty far forward in that first half. We were trying to go for the jugular early and get a goal, and that just wasn't working. And yet the midfield wasn't responding to that by sending anyone further back. I think Gini Wijnaldum is a brilliant number 6, but at times he is more of a front foot number 6, and I think he is better in that role in home games where we see a lot of the ball. And I also think it's just because, none of the players really were used to playing in this lineup. They weren't used to this kind of setup. I think away from home, we do normally either go with defensive fullbacks or a defensive midfield, and it just wasn't clear which one we were really going to go for in this game. So there was an awfully large gap that was left between the centre-backs and the midfield. And while, the centre-backs are great and they often dealt with the problems that were thrown at them, you don't really want to be seeing them put under pressure on a regular basis, and that's what was happening. There were far too many balls that were getting behind our midfield, behind our fullbacks, and forcing the centre-backs into situations where they had to make last-ditch tackles, last-ditch interceptions, where they had to actually, bring out the full range of their skills. And like I said, they're brilliant. Van Dijk was so solid in that game, I thought, and the same with Joel Matip. They dealt with everything that was thrown at them, but I think we really could have done with a few fewer things being thrown at them. We could have done with making things a little bit easier for ourselves, because like I said, I know it was going to be difficult. This was never going to be an easy match, but you can manage it to make it as easy as possible. You can manage it so you don't put yourself in too many high pressure situations by just nipping things in the bud early on, and I felt like we never really got the hang of that in the first half. And then I think going forward, because we were struggling, because Southampton were having so many chances, we ended up kind of, overplaying as well. We were trying to get the ball forward quickly, far too quickly for my liking as well. We were always thinking, right, get it to the attack, let's counter-attack, because Southampton were attacking as well, and I think we thought there was going to be space open there. But I think they set up very well to counter-attack in such a way that meant when they did get men forward, it looked like they were committing and they were going for an attacking approach. But when they didn't have the ball, they got back very, very quickly, and they still had bodies there. I think Ralph Hasenhüttl got his formation and got his tactics spot on in the first half. And I suppose then you have kind of got to give credit to them. It wasn't all Liverpool playing badly. Southampton set up very, very well. Certainly when you compare it to the Norwich game, where I think they just got absolutely everything wrong in those first 40 minutes when Liverpool ran absolutely riot. This was a completely different situation where they got their tactics as good as they possibly could have done. So I think it's no surprise that Liverpool improved so much after the break, because we had a lot more time to respond, because Jurgen Klopp had time to sit down with his coaching staff and with the players and work their way through the problems they were being presented with, because I don't think they expected Southampton to A, be that good, and B, play in that style. So just going forward in that first half, yeah, we were in no way in control of the ball. We were always just trying to get it forward as quickly as possible. Never was anyone trying to really work an opportunity. It was more just about trying to force it by any means necessary, and that's never going to work. While it shouldn't feel effortless, it should look effortless. It should look like Liverpool are just slowly building up and eventually breaking teams down, because, you know, like I said, Southampton had enough bodies back that we were never going to be able to catch them on the counter-attack. So, yeah, obviously it looks like we're going to go into half-time at 0-0. Unfortunately for me, my stream that I was watching worked perfectly for the first 45 minutes, and then right as we go into stoppage time, it drops out. I'm thinking, no, the half looked like it was about to end anyway. But then suddenly Sadio Mane just belts one in to the far corner. It's a brilliant finish. I've said it time and time again. I'm pretty sure I said it after the Super Cup as well. But it is so good to have players in your side who are not just capable of that kind of finish, because I think most players in the Premier League are able of doing that, you know, once in a blue moon. But having players in your side who can do that on a regular basis, because at times like these, when things aren't going your way, when you can't work the perfect opportunity, you need someone who only needs a half chance, who only needs a small sight of goal, and has the quality to just belt it into those far corners with aplomb. And like I said, it's not just that Mane can do that, it's that Mane can do it on a regular basis, and probably Firmino can as well, and Salah can as well. We've got multiple game changers in the squad. That's something that really stood out for us last season, I think, and it's good to see us carrying it through to this season as well. And obviously good to see Sadio Mane carrying in that brilliant form with which he ended last season already. You know, the 2 goals in the Super Cup and the goal again today, and then the assist for Firmino as well. You know, he closes it down, he presses brilliantly, catches that Southampton back line out, and then Firmino, after an earlier poor miss, you know, and I think I was a bit less worried about the miss at that point. If that miss had come in the first half, where he just shanks the ball wide, I would have been fuming, I reckon, because it would have been our first clear-cut chance of the game. But I think with the second half, we started so much better. Like I said, it's no surprise that Jurgen Klopp, once he was able to get the players into the dressing room and work through the issues that we had, we suddenly looked like a different team, and we could stamp our authority on the game. Suddenly we weren't rushing things, we weren't going for the jugular straight away, we were working opportunities, we were waiting, we were being calm in possession, because, you know, in these kind of situations, especially away from home, you've got to put a lot of value in just keeping the ball, in just setting your positions, in getting everyone comfortable on the ball, getting everyone to feel their way into the match before you start trying anything mad. And I think those first 20 minutes of the second half were probably the best that Liverpool played, because in that time Southampton couldn't get out. Suddenly they had no foothold on the game whatsoever, and it was just felt like a matter of time before Liverpool got that second goal that in theory should have put the tie beyond Southampton. And obviously Firmino misses that chance earlier on. Another brilliant cross from Sadio Mane. You know, he was absolutely electric today. I think he's got to be the man of the match. It's hard to really give one to any Liverpool player, because the vast majority of them were poor for the first 45 minutes of the game. But I felt like Mane, when he needed to, he absolutely turned it on, and he assists that goal for Firmino as well. Pressing, winning the ball, giving it back to Firmino. It's a lovely little run, going around the defence. You know, it's not the perfect finish. It's not right into the corner, but I think he does the dirty work before he takes the shot, by creating that opportunity, by getting around the players, by pulling the goalie out of position almost. It's something I really like to see, and something this Liverpool side has been so good at in the past, is pulling defences out of position by going from side to side and creating space that way. Firmino does it with the goalkeeper there, where he just, you know, drags the goalie all the way to the side, to the point where he doesn't need to lash it into the far corner perfectly. He just needs to get it far enough across, and, you know, keeps it low as well, that the goalie doesn't have the time to actually get down and save it. So great goal from Roberto Firmino. His first goal in the league since, I think, March. It was the Tottenham game when he got his last goal. So it's nice to see him get off the mark for the season as well. You know, he started so brilliantly, and it would have been a shame if he kind of had a bit of a monkey on his back back in terms of not actually getting a goal to show for it. But I think he has been absolutely brilliant so far. His link-up play with Mane has been brilliant as well, so it's nice to see them coming together. And obviously, there's a little bit of an understanding with the celebrations as well there. Mane, once again, nicking that brilliant Bobby Firmino celebration like that, which we all love to see. And then Firmino's celebration, maybe the less said about that, the better. Probably one of his worst ones, if I'm being honest. But I'm always happy to see Bobby Firmino score. And that should have been it. That should have been the professional 2-0 win that we were all looking for. And it felt like it was going to be for about 10 minutes. It felt like Liverpool had put everything to bed. There really was no way back into it for Southampton. I think they knew once that second goal went in that the game should have been done. But then Adrian, who I was planning to praise in this video, I think up until the 80th minute, he has a really good game, you know, makes a lot of saves. At times you can maybe argue that he shouldn't be pushing it back into the danger zone. Maybe he should hold on to it so he can start a counter-attack. But I think we just don't appreciate how good Alisson is. And I think a goalie who just does the basics well enough is perfectly fine if he's going to be a backup goalie and in theory will only play another handful of Premier League games for Liverpool this season if, you know, fingers crossed, Alisson comes back and then stays fit for the rest of the campaign. But I thought, you know, he made some really good saves, especially in the first half. If I had to pick a best player from the first half, and you know that's quite difficult because, like I said, no one really performed that well, to be honest, it would have been Adrian because he made saves when it counted. And it's just a shame that in the 80th minute or thereabouts, he suddenly throws all of that hard work in the bin by playing out a poor ball. You know, we saw him get caught under pressure earlier on in the game. I think Southampton pinned him as the weakness, which is understandable because obviously our defence is now used to playing it out from the back. When you watch the ball that Van Dijk plays to Adrian just before the Southampton goal, I don't think Van Dijk even looks for where Adrian is. He kind of does a weird Bobby Firmino no-look thing where it's not even tough for him. It's not even difficult. He just knows where the goalie is. He knows to pop it back. He trusts that the goalie's going to, you know, carry on the move and carry on playing out from the back, forgetting that we don't have Alisson, the best goalkeeper in the world and the best goalkeeper in the world at playing it out from the back. And we do have a goalkeeper who's just fine. And if you do put him under pressure like Southampton did, then you might get a reward out of it. And obviously they do. They get the goal from Danny Ings. Suddenly the whole place goes mental. There's a chance from Danny Ings where I felt like I was going to be sick about 5 minutes after that, where thankfully Danny Ings just shanks it wide. You know, Agent Danny Ings coming good for Liverpool once again, thankfully, doesn't put away 2 goals that would have led to it being a draw because that would have been really, really tough for us to take as Liverpool fans. But yeah, the last 10 minutes suddenly went mad. I'm so glad we brought on Firmino because he just added that bit of extra defensive solidity that was definitely missing, certainly in the first half of the game. It was nice to have Henderson come on as well. You saw as soon as he came on, especially because he'd had a word with the manager beforehand, he was vocal, he was leading people, and these are the kind of things that people don't pick up on because they think that he's not good enough to play for Liverpool. They don't realise just how much work he does, not just in terms of what he's doing on the ball, but off the ball, organising and keeping everyone in shape, keeping everyone motivated, making sure everyone plays to the absolute best of their ability. We needed Henderson for those last 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm so happy that Klopp got him on the pitch because I do feel like things could maybe have gone even worse had he not been on the pitch for those last 5 minutes. But obviously, yeah, we eventually ride it out. We eventually got a little bit of a foothold on the game as well. Once we got through stoppage time and the last 3 minutes or so of that, it felt like Liverpool had regained their composure a little bit. It's just, I think because the Saints goal came so late, they knew they had to throw the kitchen sink at us. We didn't really gather our composure for a little bit after that, and we do end up with the squeaky bum time that I don't think any of us wanted to be put through. But it's ended up being a statement win because of that, I think. And it was always going to be that because of all the variables around the Super Cup and the goalkeeper situation. It was never going to be, like I said, a walk in the park. It was always going to be a difficult game for Liverpool. And it looks like we have managed to retain that ability of just getting through no matter what. And even when things look like they're going to go wrong, even when it looks like the old Liverpool is going to rear its ugly head and ruin our weekends once again, the new Liverpool managed to just quash all that, calm it all down and get through for the 3 points. Thankfully, nothing has gone wrong this weekend. Thankfully, we can all breathe. We've got through it now. I don't think it was ever going to be enjoyable. It was always going to be tough, but we've come through the other side all maybe not happy because I think we're all quite stressed, but certainly relieved. And if there's one big complaint I have, and this may seem slightly off topic, but it's something I wanted to talk about in this video because it's been bugging me for a while and it annoyed me once again today. The 3 o'clock blackout in England, and bear with me if you aren't English and you had, you know, absolutely no problems watching this game whatsoever because you were able to watch it legally on TV in your country. In England, we can't because of this stupid rule where it's based on this presumption that if you show the Premier League games at 3 o'clock, then no one's going to go and see their lower league team that plays nearby to them, and they're going to get deprived of money, and it's just going to, you know, stretch out the gap between the top flight and the rest of the leagues. But being perfectly honest, if Liverpool are playing at 3 o'clock, there is not a chance in hell I'm going to go and see my local team. I will either illegally stream it, or if there's no illegal stream, I will simply just listen to it on the radio. There is no version of events where I decide, you know what, I'm not that interested in the Liverpool result, I'm just going to go and watch my local League One team play. That's just never going to happen. So no one's winning out of this scenario because my local team isn't getting any more money through tickets. The Premier League aren't getting any more money through, you know, TV rights deals and stuff like that. And I'm having an absolutely horrible experience watching the match because I'm missing the goals, because I'm not seeing any of the key events, because I'm watching it in hideous picture quality where it freezes and drops out every 5 seconds and it looks like I'm going to give my computer about 100 viruses in 5 minutes or something like that. Just sort it out for God's sake, because like I said, no one's winning, no one's benefiting from this. You know, sometimes I do go and watch my local team, and listen, if they still showed the Premier League 3 o'clocks and the best game that was on was like, you know, Crystal Palace versus Norwich, I'm still actually more inclined to then go and see my local team because I don't want to watch Crystal Palace versus Norwich. But if Liverpool are on, I'm going to watch them or follow that match no matter what. So I just feel like it's becoming a bit of an outdated rule because in the world of illegal streaming, and while I think they're going to be able to clamp down on it, it's never going to be stopped completely. People are just going to watch the Premier League if they want to, and they're going to go and watch their local team if they want to. You can't really change that, so at least get some money out of it. And, you know, if you do, funnel some of the money from like a rights deal for 3 o'clock games into the lower leagues, funnel it into grassroots football. They'll probably get more money out of that than they do with the current situation with the 3 o'clock blackout. So listen, I'm sorry that I put that little rant at the end of the video, but it does kind of spoil the enjoyment of games. You know, like I said, this was a stressful match, and it was only made more stressful by the amount of times I wasn't actually able to see what was going on. By the amount of times, you know, Southampton would have a corner or Liverpool would be breaking and I'd be on the edge of my seat, and suddenly you'd just see that little buffering symbol and it completely ruins the enjoyment for everyone. And like I said, no one's winning out of the situation at the moment. So whoever it is, you know, I don't know if it's the FA who set this rule, whether it's the Premier League, whether it's the government or whatever, but there needs to be some sort of change there because it is a problem. And like I said, it's not benefiting anyone at the moment. But with all that aside, that little rant put to one side, of course, the main thing was always Liverpool getting 3 points. We've done that now. We've got over the hump. I feel like this was the first real test of the season, and hopefully we don't have to go through any more anytime soon. Obviously, Arsenal next weekend is going to be difficult, but we've got the full week to prepare for that now. We should have a full complement, apart from obviously Alisson Becker in the squad. We shouldn't have any sort of goalie crisis with Adrian's swollen ankle to worry about. So, you know, hopefully that'll go a little bit smoother, even though Arsenal are obviously some high quality opposition. But like I said, the main thing was getting through it today. We can now sit back and not enjoy the Man City game because that's virtually impossible, because 99 times out of 100 they always win. But we can at least sit back and think whatever happens, we've still kept the pace. We haven't been the first ones to blink in the title race. And, you know, this endless back and forthing between Liverpool and Man City will carry on for the foreseeable future at least. So yeah, that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, as always, you know what to do. Hit that like button down there. Hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days. Don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter. And I'll be back soon for the pre-match content for the game against Arsenal. Until then, bye for now.